Are we really doing this again? Another playoff loss, another offseason, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are already back in the rumor mill talking about trading core pieces? Is this some kind of sick joke? Are we trapped in a never-ending cycle of hope, disappointment, and trade speculation? Honestly, what fresh hell is this? All right, everyone, take a deep breath. If you can, welcome back to the channel, where we try to make sense of the perpetual chaos that is the Toronto Maple Leafs offseason. Just when you thought you might get a moment to recover from the soul-crushing defeat in the first round against Florida, the rumors start flying, and this time, they're hitting right at the heart of the team. General Manager Brad Treliving didn't exactly provide comfort when he spoke after the season ended. His blunt assessment that the team needs a DNA change was less of a subtle hint and more of a flashing neon sign screaming, "Big changes are coming." And when you talk about changing the DNA of this team, you're inevitably talking about the highly paid, highly scrutinized, and thus far playoff challenge core four: Auston Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and John Tavares. They've put up incredible regular season numbers. They've provided highlight reel moments, but the ultimate goal, sustained playoff success and a Stanley Cup, has remained frustratingly out of reach. With only 2 series wins in 7 years for this core group, the patience, it seems, has worn thin. Now, the speculation isn't about if a core piece will be moved, but which one, and for what return. The internet is already buzzing with hypothetical trades, and some of them are absolute head-turners. Let's dive into a couple of the most prominent ideas circulating right now, starting with a proposal that would send one of the team's most dynamic players packing. The unthinkable: trading William Nylander? Could William Nylander, the player who just signed that massive $92 million extension and had a career-best 84-point season, actually be traded? A proposed deal generated on Puckpedia's PuckGM tool suggests it's a possibility. This hypothetical blockbuster would see Nylander heading to the NHL's newest franchise, the Utah Mammoth. Here's how this potential trade breaks down. Toronto Maple Leafs would acquire Barrett Hayton forward, Jack McBain forward, 2025 first-round draft pick, specifically the 4th overall selection. Utah Mammoth would acquire William Nylander forward, David Kampf forward. Trading William Nylander would be a seismic shift for the Maple Leafs. He's a legitimate star, an elite offensive talent. In return, Toronto would receive a package focused on adding depth and acquiring a high draft pick. The most valuable asset coming back is clearly the 4th overall pick in the 2025 draft. This gives the Leafs a chance to draft a potential future cornerstone player, something they desperately need in their prospect pool, especially after years of trading away picks. They also get 2 NHL forwards. Barrett Hayton, a 24-year-old center/winger, is entering the final year of his $5.3 million deal. He's a versatile player who could potentially slide into the second-line center role or play wing, addressing a need for the team. He's coming off a season with 20 goals and 26 assists for 46 points in 82 games. Joining him would be Jack McBain, a 25-year-old pending restricted free agent. McBain is a big forward who could provide size and some offensive chipping ability in the bottom 6, potentially as a third-line center or winger. He scored 13 goals and 14 assists for 27 points in 82 games last season. The cost for Toronto is, of course, William Nylander. He's in the 2nd year of his 8-year, $92 million contract, a deal that carries a significant cap hit, $11.5 million AAV. For Utah, acquiring Nylander would instantly give them a marquee player to build their franchise around. However, a major hurdle is Nylander's no-movement clause, which he would need to waive to agree to go to Utah. Last season, Nylander was phenomenal, scoring 45 goals and 39 assists for 84 points in 82 games. That kind of production is incredibly hard to replace. Utah would also acquire David Kampf, a reliable defensive forward who was a healthy scratch at times in the playoffs. He has 2 years left on his $9.6 million contract. The idea of trading Nylander isn't just a fan-made concept. Some prominent voices in the hockey world believe it's a move the Leafs should seriously consider. NHL analyst Darren Pang, speaking on Overdrive, bluntly stated that if the team is looking for a big move, trading Willie Nylander, to be honest with you, makes sense. Pang felt that the team's current style of play isn't working, and while Mitch Marner often takes the heat, Pang believes Marner plays a more determined two-way game than Nylander. Pang acknowledged Nylander's offensive talent, but argued that if the Leafs want to blow things up and change their identity, trading Nylander could allow them to get one player out and two players back, addressing the team's perceived lack of forward depth. Nylander is a fan favorite, known for his speed, skill, and clutch moments. But if the organization is truly committed to a DNA change and altering the team's culture and playoff performance, moving a high-salary, high-profile player like Nylander, despite his regular season brilliance, might be seen as a necessary, albeit painful, step. It would free up significant cap space and bring in assets needed to restructure the roster. Interestingly, after the playoff loss, Nylander publicly defended the core, arguing that they were right there against Florida and that he didn't think there was an issue with the core. He called the feeling of losing tie. However, given Treliving's subsequent comments about needing a DNA change, it seems increasingly likely that Nylander and the rest of the core might not get another opportunity to prove themselves together. The Marner question, trading for replacement? While trading Nylander is a major possibility, an even more immediate question mark hangs over the future of Mitch Marner. Marner is set to become an unrestricted free agent on July 1st, and all signs point towards him exploring his options outside of Toronto. If Marner, a top-tier playmaker and offensive engine, walks in free agency, the Maple Leafs will have a massive hole to fill up front. Replacing a player of his caliber in free agency is incredibly difficult. This has led some insiders to suggest the trade market as the most viable way for Toronto to replace Marner if he departs. NHL insider Joe Yerdon of Bleacher Report recently floated the idea of the Maple Leafs trading for Dallas Stars star forward Jason Robertson. Yerdon wrote that if Marner leaves, the Leafs will have a massive hole to fill up front, and replacing him is nearly impossible unless they traded for Robertson. He suggested that if the Leafs could somehow acquire Robertson after Marner's departure, the debate about whether they upgraded would be intense and long-lasting. However, Yerdon also highlighted the significant hurdles Toronto faces in making such a trade happen. He noted that the Leafs lack top prospects to move and don't have a first-round pick for the next 3 years. These are two remarkably high hurdles to clear. Despite this, he added that weirder things have happened in the NHL. Jason Robertson is a 24-year-old dynamic forward who scored 35 goals and added 45 assists for 80 points in 82 games for Dallas last season. He would provide a significant offensive punch and could step into a top-6 role, potentially filling some of the void left by Marner. An interesting subplot is that his brother, Nick Robertson, already plays for the Maple Leafs, which could, in theory, make Toronto an attractive destination for Jason. Robertson